to sort of Polish neighbourhood on.
Oh, must be Greenpoint. Yeah,
Which is
Greenpoint.
great. It's like, hey, New York, hello.
Yeah.
And then I wondered, how did we wander around the quite sort of wealthy, well, the sort of kind of wealthy neighbourhoods either side of where we are, downtown Brooklyn, because we're on like 3rd Avenue and 3rd Street or something. There's all kind of ex-industrial around there, but one way's Court Street, which is all quite shishy, but it's nice, it's not it's arse, you know.
Yeah.
And then the other way, the other thing, really, some really beautiful tenements around Prospect Park. And I was sort of looking around, and none of the cars were like sort of, you know, it wasn't all really top-end cars.
Yeah, certainly east of the park is still,
Right.
it's still kind of hasn't been touched really.
Well, that was west of the park.
Oh, okay.
But I was still surprised at how, I mean, obviously there were like gardeners and things, obviously fairly rich people there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't quite as, you know, insufferable as, you know, parts of the Upper West Side and things.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Williamsburg is certainly, I mean, it's been changed for years, obviously, but
because it was like the hit place 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, Williamsburg, wow, you know.
Yeah. And my favourite venue in the whole city is unfortunately getting kicked out next month or November. So that's a real shame.
What's that?
It's called Death by Audio.
Right.
It's and well, no one knows for sure, but it seems like Vice have bought the whole building block and they're just going to knock the whole thing down.
What's Vice?
It's a news outlet.
Right.
You know, it's like the hipster news outlet, but they seem to be sending all their reporters out to Syria at the moment to try and get some street cred for being serious news now. But anyway, that's a real shame. But it's the nature of the city, really.
It's the nature of capitalism. You know, these places, places they get run down. If they don't have good housing stock, they knock them down and build housing stock for the rich. And people, you know, the poor and the artists just get moved around from pillar to post every decade.
It's like you can't even have a music venue anymore. You have to be something else as well. Obviously, this is a restaurant and a winery. Rough Trade the other day is a record store.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of other kind of concert spaces / something else.
Yeah.
It just seems like there's not a market anymore just to go and watch bands play.
It's not enough.
No.
It doesn't have added value.
So is it the first time you've played Brooklyn?
It is. The first time I've really been in. I mean, we must have been in Brooklyn to do various bits of promo over the years, but I've never wandered around Brooklyn, and we've never had a hotel in Brooklyn, which we do this time, which is great actually. So I walked across, on the day off, I walked across the Brooklyn Bridge, which was hellishly packed with tourists, and I just wanted a bit of Lower Manhattan, just because it's been a while since I was here.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, I kind of wish I just stayed in Brooklyn, wandering around downtown Brooklyn, because it was nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's like enough real people hanging about down there, and it's, you know, there's quite nice places to hang out. I quite liked it.
Mm-hmm. And you just played in Philly, is that right? Did they kind of mess things up having to come into the city?
No, it was fine because we just based ourselves in this Marriott in downtown Brooklyn, so it's pretty easy. It's only like an hour and a half or something.
So you've talked about the kind of virtues of boredom in the past.
Yeah.
So after recording a solo album, playing shows with Delamitri, and now touring the UK and US, you must be having a terrible time.
Well, I still haven't been that busy. I mean, I'm busier than I normally would be, but there's been. I mean, I was supposed to come to the US in April, so I would have hopped off the Delamitri thing, got pissed for a week, and then gone into rehearsals for this, which I did, and then it got postponed, which is a bit of a bummer. So I actually had 2 months off, which is just fatal because I just went. Well, I mean, I wrote a few songs, but I ended up going to the pub. So yes, I was bored. I was sufficiently bored that I got bored of going to the pub. But no, I mean, I do like being busy, I have to say. But yeah, I do stand by the idea that constructing, or yes, not constructing boredom, but being bored is definitely an absolute prerequisite for doing anything remotely interesting.
Mm-hmm. So, Lower Reaches just came out in the States a couple of months ago on Compass Records.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of bonus tracks on the US version. Can you say something about those songs?
Well, I really hate putting bonus tracks on records because there's a reason that they're not on the album. And I spend quite a long time, as everybody does, over the sequence and all that sort of stuff. So it just buggers about your sequence. But they insist on it, so I mean, I'm sort of glad they're out there, but I had to kind of shut them at the end because I wasn't going to rejig the whole bloody thing. Mm-hmm. So it's a bit irritating. It just means that because I've still got that very puritanical idea that, you know, that Sgt. Pepper is Sgt. Pepper, and you don't put Strawberry Fields Penny Lane on it because they were recorded at the same time. You know? They're not on that story. They're not part of that story. So But fuck it. What's the point of being precious in this day and age?
And there's a couple of new Delamitri tracks that you just posted online.
Well, yeah,
what
they're not
kind
that
of time
new.
period are they
They're
from?
just there's like it could be any time before 2008, I would say, those tracks, because me and Ian did bits of writing and recording from 2003 onwards. And we were we started out trying to go really out there and making a sort of radical sort of electronic record, to the point where Ian would randomly program bits of MIDI, and then he would loop snippets of that, and then but the more we did that, the more everything just turned into kind of Delamitri with sort of synths, which is a bit odd, and nobody really liked it very much except us. So it never got released. So we're just going to end up. I think we'll just end up putting things one at a time up on SoundCloud. And I mean, nobody will listen to them. A handful of people will listen to them, but at least they're sort of up there and out there. But yeah, it was just because it didn't sound like. I mean, the song sounded like us, but the production didn't sound like us. So nobody seemed to want to have anything to do with it.
Well, I remember some of the songs from the time. Feel Free's Fault was a great song.
It is a great song, and I mean, there's loads of great songs in that. There's about 18 songs that we wrote, and I really like all of them, and Ian really likes all of them, but nobody within our sort of structure really kind of relates to them. So you're kind of stymied by that, really, in a way.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I guess there's tons of Delamitri stuff in the vault from the late 90s and the early zeros that we should really just put up there for our own amusement more than anything.
I always thought you'd be a great box set band, but I guess the reissues from this year kind of...
Yeah, there's more and more of the stuff that has never been released is now being released, much to kind of my irritation, because there was a few really obscure things which I enjoyed. Because you meet people that have got those things or know about those things, and you feel a sort of kinship with them because only you and a handful of people have got them. So it's like, I like that too. So, but eventually, in the digital world, everything is available all the time.
Yeah.
That's eventually what happens. So, having any editorial process over what you release and the status of what you release, that's a B-side. There's a reason why that's a B-side. It's impossible. Everything becomes of equal value. It's highly frustrating. So, I mean, it's possible that now that things like streaming services rule the music industry, that a really obscure track by some famous band could end up being the most played thing that they have. Yeah. And they would go and do a gig and everybody would be shouting out for this weird song from 1969 that they know nothing about. I mean, I suppose that's okay, but it's very odd if you've got that anally retentive control freakery, which a lot of people do, which is, I want that to be the first song on the album, and I want that to be obscure.
And that almost, it's kind of a double-edged sword as well, because in my experience, Delamitri fans are very, not many people just like Delamitri. If you're a fan, you tend to kind of love the band. They're one of your favourites, if not someone's favourite. So all the people the other day at the Rough Trade, I imagine there's going to be a good chunk of them coming tonight as well, and they sing all the B-sides and everything as well.
I mean, I really like all that. I mean, the reason kind of what I was saying before, and I hope this doesn't sound disingenuous because it honestly isn't, but I love Delamitri, and I always have, and it's before we did the first gig on that reunion tour, I nearly burst out crying because the whole thing was just so kind of full of meaning and emotion. So I quite like, on the occasion when I meet people like that in bars, I'll quite happily chat away like a fan, because I know all that stuff as well. I mean, Ian's not so conversant with all that stuff. He thinks differently, I think. Or maybe it's because when you write the lyrics, you've got a bit more of a feeling for it, because it's kind of, if I sort of lie awake at night, I can probably remember all the lyrics that I've ever written. So I can always have those conversations with super freak fans, and quite enjoy it. It's quite stimulating, because I just think, I've got the same taste as you. Strange.
If every song's the same is to be seen as like a challenge or a wish to be impressed by something, you've certainly had that with Withered Hand and Sunken Moon this year. What is it about those records that really stand out?
Because the first person that's noticed that's what that song's about. People think it's about teaching people to write a fucking song. But I just find I don't really listen to lyrics, because generally I don't find lyrics that interesting. Mm-hmm. But when they are really interesting, then your ears prick up. You're like, oh God, what's that? Fuck's sake! I better listen to that more carefully. And this year's been very unusual for me in that I knew the Withered Hand record was going to be great because I loved the first record, and but I was really surprised by that Sun Kill Moon record. It really knocked me sideways when I listened to it. And obviously they're very different lyrically as well. Although they both sound highly autobiographical, which I do like, I have to say. But you can go for a decade without hearing a record with really good lyrics that you can say to people, listen to the fucking lyric, you know.
Yeah.
When I know music and songwriting isn't about the lyrics, it's about everything. But sometimes, you know, I'm not a big particular hip hop fan, and I don't know very much about hip hop. But part of the reason why I listened to hip hop in the 90s was because nobody else was writing lyrics except for hip hop artists. They were actually thinking about what they wrote.
Yeah.
Nobody else was at all. Everybody was trying to have fucking big Oasis style hits with big "We're All Together" and, you know. So yeah, that was a nice surprise for me. I mean, Bill Callahan as well usually writes really interesting lyrics, a bit obviously more abstract and they're a bit more mysterious. But I do always enjoy those records. Just something to think about, really. You know?
Yeah. I mean, the Sun Kill Moon record it's a massacre, really. I've never known so many people to die on.
It's amazing, and you kind of think it's all true. I mean, maybe it isn't, doesn't matter. But yeah, it's quite remarkable.
Yeah.
So yeah, he pulls it off as well, because actually there's some funny bits on it. You know, I mean, I love My Dad's quite funny.
Mm-hmm.
Look, it's just astonishing. I mean, it's one of the few records I've ever bought that I've just listened to 5 times in a row straight away.
Yeah, that's definitely bad these days.
Yeah.
I mean, death is kind of a theme in your lyrics at points, but it's not just kind of so in your face like that. Is that something you try to be subtle with, or?
Yeah, well, I haven't experienced very much death. I've just been. You just come on in. You just find yourself. You think about it more as you get older, I think. And I've had a few strange conversations with. Come in.
It's alright.
It's alright.
Push it.
Push what? The door.
Whenever you're finished, the chap downstairs is ready for you.
Great. Right.
Shall I
Tell them we'll be 15 minutes or something. So just keep them.
One guitar, 2 guitars.
I need both my guitars if it's 3 songs.
Do you have your tuner down there?
Yes, it's in my bag at Post radio station. Yes.
Okay.
Nice. Thanks, Derek. But one of the things, because I'm 50 this year, and one of the common themes with the men and women that I spoke to who are around about 50 is that you don't really mind so much if you die than if you do when you're under that age, and certainly when you're in your 30s. It's like you seem to have so much more to do, and you're like you're really terrified of death. I mean, obviously I'm terrified of being ill, but I'm not terrified of dying, because I feel like I've had a fucking amazing life, you know. And you do, you know, everybody's parents starts dying, and so you do. I mean, again, that's the Sun Kill Moon guy, was it Mark Kozelek? I can't pronounce his name, but you know, his aunt's dying and all that sort of stuff.
No,
he's a bit younger than us. You know, his parents are still quite healthy. But you know, once you know, it becomes just a more frequent thing, and it's something that's funny and something that's really odd. You know?
Do you have to kind of stop yourself writing about that then, or do you just?
Well, you just want to try and find a way of disguising it, so it's a nice metaphor that people can hum, you know, rather than oh woe is me. Yeah, and again, it's that old sort of poetic conceit. Most poetry is concerned with love and death and beauty, and that's really about it, you know. And at the end of the day, so songwriting, really. I mean, a lot of the early rock and roll records were as much, and blues records especially, about dying.
Yeah.
So it's not a morbid thing. It's just it's a really fascinating thing to get inside and start finding ways of singing about it, really. And obviously you can write a song about death that just sounds like it's a love song or something else.
Yeah. Well, especially some of the Withered Hand music is it's just pop.
Yeah, so I mean that record's really indie pop.
Yeah.
It's total indie pop with great lyrics, which is quite unusual, you know.
I think that's the kind of the perfect combination of having something that sounds beautiful, but when you kind of scratch under the surface.
Yeah, I mean that's great, because you can have hits, and you can have hits, and the people that really get it will just love you. You know, like R.E.M's kind of Losing My Religion type hits and all that kind of stuff. Oh, mandolin, it's quite what would the word be, elegiac, you know. But the lyrics, you know, just about all being ostracised. So yeah, that's a. I mean, I wish I could do that actually, because now I'm at an age now where I find it almost impossible to write fast songs. I have to really force myself to write fast songs, and they generally sound a bit shallow. So yes, I'm quite jealous of Brother Tyler.
You played with him recently, didn't you?
I did. It was a great. I did it because I was asked to do it, and it was a great honour. And I got to hang out with him. He was a total sort of idol, so that was great. And he was really nice as well. He was dead funny. Yeah, it was just a wee thing in the East End of Glasgow. It was really good fun. It was a great night.
In terms of kind of releasing music, you seem prolific in the number of songs you write, but the time between releases seems to, there's always 2 or 3 years.
Well, I'm a lot less prolific than I was, and I don't really count how many songs I write, but I don't write all the time, and I don't obsess about not writing. So if I haven't written a song for a year, I'm not going to really beat myself up about it. If you don't have a band and a record company waiting for you to deliver material, you don't write those songs that you feel that you have to write. And I'm quite happy not to write those songs because I don't think they're any good. I mean, it might be commercially, they might have commercial potential, but I'm not really concerned about that. I mean, look, I would love to have hits, for fuck's sake, but I wouldn't. I'm really glad I'm not in a position where I feel the onus that I have to write hits, especially at my age, because writing hits for pop radio is a young man's game, because you've got that energy and desire to get your stuff heard, which means that you'll kind of pump the music up in a way,
Have you been asked to write for other people at all?
No, and I don't think the stuff I write is very rarely covered because I don't think it translates particularly well. I've never particularly liked the covers that I've heard. Although there's a few covers of Driving the Brakes on which are actually very good. There's one that's actually quite a lot better than Dylan Mitchell's version. There's an Australian singer who did a really good version. There's a country singer who did a really good version. I can't remember either of their names. But generally they don't really work. I've tried, I've been stuck in rooms with people that don't write who have commercial careers, and it's pretty painful, and I just turn it down now and I'm offered that. So occasionally I get offered that. Would you like to write with so and so who's had a hit and wants to co-write, and all that really means is you write the song and they put their name on it, which to me is a bit of that. I find it very galling.
Yeah. So at this stage, are you looking to record an album and then find distribution for it, or? What
I do next, I don't know. Me and my manager had a conversation the other day. We don't have a fucking clue what to do next, because we spent less and less money on every record, and we made less and less money on every record. So we always lose money. So it becomes just it's like vanity publishing. It doesn't have any validity to it at all. So I mean, I'm quite happy to make records from nothing. I'm quite happy not to hire studios and producers and things like that.
It seems like you have to perform these days to make money.
Yeah, I mean, I can only really make money in the UK, like only once or twice a year, and I can't really bang that to death forever. So it's a bit of a mystery to us, really, how you just how you turn it over.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not complaining, because I live off of past glories and royalties, and I'm in an incredibly fortuitous position, and I feel really sorry for people who didn't have that stroke of luck. But though, those royalties eventually run out, and it's like, I don't really want to do anything else, so I'm going to have to figure out a way of like pouring my ass to make a living out of it, because I really don't want to do anything. I don't want to go back to working in restaurants or something.
Yeah.
I'm too old for it, so fuck knows what I would do.
And you see a lot of bands these days just really kind of going the nostalgia route, and sometimes you can just see it. Everyone has to make a living, obviously, but you want to see the band. I'd like to see new material all the time.
Yeah, I mean that's what that Dylan Mitchell thing we did, which was we were really worried about the whole nostalgia thing, but actually we found the personal nostalgia bit quite gratifying. No, it's okay. But we thought, do we do a new record? Nobody would put any money up for a new record. We wouldn't make any money back for the cost of recording. It would cost us £30 to record it or something like that. That didn't really feel right, to be honest. That would have felt really forced, So, but that being said, if we'd had a year's work on that Dylan Mitchell stuff without doing new songs, it would have got pretty stale pretty quickly. Yeah. So that was the 3 weeks we did in the UK and Ireland. That was fine. That was great. But even towards the end, I could sort of feel like, okay, I know we've got quite a lot of material, we're alternating songs, but this is going to get very old very quickly. I mean, it was great fun, don't get me wrong, it was really, really good fun, and we got paid a lot of money for a couple of gigs, so I'm very grateful for that. But, yeah, without doing 1 or 2 new songs, you just start to feel like just a jukebox.
Well, I flew back for a couple of the shows, and I thought they were fantastic.
Which shows did you see?
Oxford and Hammersmith.
Yeah, Hammersmith was great, really
Yeah.
enjoyed Hammersmith. And the audience were quite drunk at Hammersmith, which is good laugh.
Yeah, Oxford can be a bit sedate, unfortunately, but that's just.
Yeah,
I think it's the crowd, really. The town.
Did we play the Apollo?
Yeah, well, it's got the new theatre now, but yeah.
I can't really remember that gig actually. But I mean, the disappointing thing about that tour as well is that only Hammersmith audience sold out. I mean, the Glasgow gig oversold, but it's a huge venue, so they just kept selling more tickets until they stopped selling. So I suppose you could see that sold out because it started off at 5 and it went up to 9 or something. But none of the other gigs sold out. So we were hoping if we'd sold out all those gigs, promoters would have looked at it and gone, all right, we'll put them like Four in the Bill at some small festival, and that would have been great. We made a bit more money, but that didn't happen. I mean, we knew that was a risk. We thought this either all sells out and we do lots of work in the summer, or it doesn't, and it didn't. But that being said, I'm glad we did it because it was great. It was really good fun.
It must be hard to gauge after 12 years.
Well, we had no idea.
Yeah.
We just didn't know how many tickets we would sell. The last tour that we did in 2002, which is a very brief little UK tour, we were playing to half-empty theatres in the south. You know, I mean, up north we were alright, but the south was difficult. Brighton was hard, Southampton, so we really didn't know. And the Glasgow thing was a real surprise because, you know, that was the most amount of people we'd ever headlined to ever, and it was big. You know, it was a really frighteningly big crowd. So we were kind of shitting ourselves. Well, we were shitting ourselves actually, and we kind of pulled off. Thankfully, or at least thanks to the audience, because they all stood up, and it was just the audience were great and quite a difficult venue. So it was, in some ways, it was a success. In other ways, it wasn't a rippling success. It depends how you view things.
How much thought do you put into your set list each night? Because I remember on the Can You Do Me Good tour, a few people booed Jesus Saves. I noticed in the audience at the time. It's like, you know, do you worry about playing something like falsetto in the middle of America or something like that?
I would never think about that at all. I mean, I would just assume that anybody that comes to see somebody like me is sort of, I mean, even if they're a rampant Republican, they're going to be liberal enough to understand the nature of free speech.
Yeah.
I mean, the only time I've ever been sort of barracked was in Belfast when we used to do the Undertones, You've Got My Number, Why Don't You Use It? And I introduced a song by saying, we're now going to do a song by a band from Derry, and somebody threw a fucking 50-pence coin and hit me right in the forehead because I didn't say London Derry. And that really infuriated me. It really fucked me right off. But no, I would never really consider stuff like that at all. It's not an issue.
Obviously, the referendum didn't quite go the way you hoped.
Well, you know, 6 months ago it did go the way because I was really against independence.
Yeah.
But the debate became so. It was way more political than I thought it would be. I thought it would be about nationalism, patriotism, all that fucking shite.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was just pure politics. And the politics of the left, the proper left in Scotland, not the fucking Labour Party, but the sort of radical and progressive left in Scotland, including the Greens and the Socialist parties, not the unions, were talking total sense. They were talking total political sense. I couldn't disagree with anything they were saying. So I found myself doing the opposite of what the UK national media were accusing Scots of, which is, vote with your head, not your heart. My heart was saying, stay in the UK. I do not to Scotland to divorce from the English in terms of our political system at all. But then my head was saying, politically, the only way we can get what we want in Scotland is by being an independent country. So it was the opposite way around for me. It was my head that said that you've got to vote yes. It became just so obvious that I had to vote yes, and That happened to a whole swathe of people of my generation who were like, no fucking way we're voting for independence, fucking nationalists. And then we got into it big time, you know. And that sort of momentum made us all rather stupidly think, fuck, this is going to happen, this could be totally amazing, you know. And in a way it has been amazing because if people are joining the Green Party and I think it's pushed the SNP to the left, which is a good thing. I think the Scottish Labour Party may be over in Scotland, which is great because they've had this virtual hegemony in the councils and they've been very corrupt and not particularly representative of the people they're supposed to represent, I wouldn't say. So yeah, I think it has been a good thing. It's really woken a lot of us up to the possibility that actually, you know, it is not inevitable that we're going down this ghastly free market, you know, liberal capitalist path to utter perdition, that there may be another way, you know? So that's been quite exciting, and I'm just really sorry there wasn't you know, fucking 60% landslide for yes, which there would be if they held it in 10 years.
But it was a massive turnout. I was amazed at just how many people came out to vote.
I mean, the postal vote turnout was over 90% or something. So all the people applying for postal votes sent their postal ballots back in, which apparently is unusual. And there was nearly 750,000 postal votes, and that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Nobody ever. Well, I mean, I didn't vote in the '97 election, where I would have voted Labour because I was away in LA and I didn't want to sort of freaking postal vote, you know. And that was a very important election, you know. So that was the point at which the Tories were getting kicked out. So, yeah, unbelievable. And the media were a bit slow. The Scottish media were very slow in a way to realise how big it was. And literally, the last 2 weeks, everywhere you went, the last 3 weeks, everybody you passed by in the street, in a shop, in a park, everybody was talking about it. It's amazing. And they were talking about proper political things. They weren't talking about party loyalties. They weren't talking about nationalism. They were talking about specific advantages and disadvantages to being a sovereign nation with a sovereign parliament. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably easier to run a kind of a positive campaign about something. I feel like yes is easier to sell.
Totally.
For anything.
Yes, and I was very sceptical about that as well. I didn't buy into all that. Although the No campaign, because I was asked to contribute to a couple of sort of public debates representing No, because I was quite happy to say I was No voter, because I was. But partly because I don't do public speaking, I can't really think on my feet at all. But also because I couldn't find enough arguments, really convincing arguments for No. Most of my No arguments were really emotional about my relationship with England, which is a cultural and emotional thing. It's not really a political thing. So I can't think of the equivalent of it, but so it was hard. There was no real vision in the No campaign, and there should have been, if there'd been a better leader of the Labour Party in the UK, and there'd been a vision about what might happen in the next 20 years, you know. I mean, if somebody had been saying, look, Europe's going to move to the left, you want to stay in the UK, don't worry about UKIP, then I think I might have voted No. But nobody was saying that. You know, I mean, Miliband didn't really do anything for the last 2 weeks.
No.
By which time he'd lost a third of the Labour vote in Scotland.
Yeah.
And he nearly lost all of it. And I supported Ed Miliband's fucking leadership as well, but how wrong was I?
Well, it's you know, not even better a bad bunch, but there's not really a lot to choose from.
No, I mean, my mate Naomi in Brighton, who's sort of really politically active, she really liked Andy Burnham. She thought he was the guy to go for, but I suppose it was just a case of not getting David Miliband in, who seemed like such a Blairite. But I don't even know what Miliband is. Ed Miliband, I don't know what he represents, or what are you?
My only worry about the referendum was if Yes did win, you know, England would probably be in a perpetual Tory.
Yeah, I mean that did worry me, but then I looked at the facts and figures. All the Labour governments would have had healthy majorities without the Scottish vote, historically, since the 50s or something. So, because I did feel like I'd be betraying one's. I mean, you know, I don't really see any. There's no real divide between Scotland and England. It's a bit of a cultural one, but it's not a big one. And I felt I was really betraying the English. There's certainly the English left by by voting yes, which is why I was a no voter. And then I thought, actually, that's not true. And then I thought, well, actually, I went to a political meeting in Scotland, and the people they were all saying, the speakers they were all saying, look, this will energise the left in England. You know, it'll waken them up because they've lost that guaranteed Labour vote, and they're going to have to reinvent the left or reinvent the fucking Labour Party. So that also convinced me as well, because I really did feel bad about it, and I was a bit embarrassed to even say to any of my English friends that I was voting yes. Although some of my English friends were really surprised that I wasn't voting yes, but some were like, oh, don't do it. And to be fair, all of them were when I said to them that I was voting yes, they went, look, we totally understand why you're doing that, because I was worried they might go fuck off. You know, only one person said fuck off. But it's okay, every right to.
So, what's the actual day-to-day like on this particular tour? It's just kind of...
Well, it's been pretty easy so far. We haven't had any really long drives so far. We've got a big long drive to Chicago tomorrow, which we're going to try and do in 1 hour, which is going to be a bit tricky. But I mean, there's not been much promo because Compass is a very small record company, and they don't seem to be doing very much. But that's probably not their fault. So yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of wandering about time, which is quite pleasant. So it's been quite leisurely so far.
Chicago was always a good kind of city for Dimitri.
It was, yeah. It was big for Dimitri. And the solo gigs have been good. In fact, the last time I played a place called Lincoln Hall, I think, and that was really busy. It was great. It was really good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Chicago.
Because for the last couple of records, you've just done a couple of shows. I think you played Joe's Pub here a couple of times,
yeah, just did
and
two.
One in LA or something. Did you play? So this is your first US?
No, the last 2 times I came over, I did technically tour for 3 weeks.
Okay.
But the last one I did the East Coast, then flew to Chicago, did Chicago, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, then flew west. So I didn't do anything in the south. I mean, I'm not doing much in the south. I'm not doing the south. I'm doing Texas. I think I'm doing Phoenix. And actually, no, I did Denver last time as well. Flew into Denver and then flew out again, which is really good. So no, every time I've been over, each solo I have done both coasts and bits in between. But this time it's all driving, which is good, so we're seeing a lot of the country.
A friend of mine was impressed that David Garza is on the record.
David.
Sorry, David.
Yeah, he's a lovely man. A lovely man, and he gave me a copy of his most recent solo record on Twitter, which is really good. It's got a couple of fucking brilliant songs on it. But he was really good company for me because he was a bit nearer my age than the other musicians, and he was kind of giving me advice about Mike McCarthy, who we'd worked with before, and how he worked. So yeah, he's great, very talented.
And he's quite an enigma when he performs live. You're not quite sure what you're going to get with him.
I mean, as a session musician, he doesn't play the same thing twice, which is great because you can record everything, choose what you want, and everything he plays is very, very interesting. You can tell he's quite a madcap, and he had a couple of brilliant Bob Dylan stories, which I'll always thank him for, which I won't repeat.
I think my favourite one I've read of him was he was in the Beatles Museum in Liverpool, and I think the police thought he was homeless and just wandering around or something, and were trying to kick him out, or something along those lines.
I think I've vaguely heard that one. It's just marvellous. Yeah, but no, David was brilliant.
So did you pick the players on the album, or were they?
No, they were sort of run by me because they all played on Craig Finn from the whole Daddy's solo record that was produced by Mike McCarthy, which is why I had Mike McCarthy on my list as a potential producer. So I knew what they sounded like, and I knew they were going to be super cool in terms of what they did. So I didn't have any worries about. I mean, your major worry is are they going to cross that taste boundary into some area that you find difficult, and how do you shepherd them back into something a bit cooler is not necessarily the right word, but something a bit more tasteful. But they're all just... I mean, the really good thing and refreshing thing about younger players is they'll play things that sound exactly like Keith Richards or exactly like Ringo Starr, and we won't do that because we think, fuck, can't do that. But they don't give a fuck, which is really refreshing, because actually you go, well, actually, that's why I like Ringo Starr, because he does that. So that was actually really good. And then you're getting a guy of my age to play a bit like somebody else that they just won't do it, even though they probably are playing like somebody else and they don't know it. But if you ask them to play like Robert Fripp, they're going to fuck off.
Would you go that route again, or will you kind of self-produce?
I doubt it. I mean, I just want the money. I'll probably go back to more what I did in the first record, but I actually don't know. I really don't know what I'm going to do. I was thinking about come on in. Think about trying to collaborate with somebody. Is he really? Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I'm really sorry.
It's not really anything, but we should.
Oh yeah. I know.
Try and get you some food and stuff.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Really
It was
sorry.
it's I feel bad for taking your time in the first place.
No, I was enjoying that.